Okay, in part 2 of building a blog in Visual Studio Code in 2019, we're going to look at, uh, now that we have the HTML markup, actually making it look decent with some CSS markup. Okay, so let's go back to Visual Studio Code and we're going to go to our style CSS folder. Okay, and perhaps in this, we don't want it all the way across the screen. We maybe want it centered on the screen. So let's start with our body, and we're going to make the max width of the body 1000 pixels. Okay, and we're going to have a float of none and a margin that is automatic. Okay, and now we're going to refresh, and it's doing nothing. So let's see. Is the style sheet being pulled in, or do we have to mess with so CSS style sheet probably pulled in? Let's clear my cache. That's always something you need to check on Chrome. So clear the data. All right, let's try it again. And still no good. All right. So, question is, why is that not working? Let's try something else. No, it's still not working. All right, so I'm thinking the style sheet might not be being pulled in. And I know why. It's in the image folder. So I want to move it up. See if I can move this. Actually, so that's no good. So all right, so we'll go to Blogception. I want to create a new folder, and I'm going to call that folder CSS. Oh, it already exists at this location, so that's weird. All right. Let's just delete it. We haven't done much yet. And let's create a new folder called CSS. Okay. Now, within this new folder, let's create a new file. We'll call that style.css. Okay. Now, hopefully this will work. It was in the wrong path. It was in the image folder. Okay, so max width is going to be 1000 pixels. Float is going to be none. Margin is going to be auto. Okay, and let's try it. There we go. Okay, so yeah, I was in the wrong pathway, and I had to delete it, not to move it, so that I could create the same folder in a different pathway. All right, so we have this logo. And we don't have a logo yet, so let's get one. And let's just get an example one. You can go to Pexels to get free photos, and maybe I want my logo to be a bear. Okay, and I'm going to look, and that bear is a very nice bear. Okay, and see, I can free for personal and commercial use. So I'm going to download the small version. And then I'm going to go to Pick Resize, which is a free site to resize your pictures. And I'm going to browse into downloads, and I'm going to go for today. What did I download today? Hopefully this will pull it up. I download that. Okay. Going to click continue. All right, and I want to crop this little bear here. This is being a pain. What the heck is it? Okay, here we go. We're cropping it. Let's get the full bear. Move this a little closer on this side. Okay. Crop that. Okay, that's going to be our logo. And we're going to do a custom size. Let's do width of 100. This site lets me. May need to refresh the site. It's not. Come on. Sorry, bear with me. Let's crop this again. Crop the selection. Okay. Make the width 100. Okay, and I'm done. Resize my picture. Okay, and save it to disk. Show in the folder. We're going to move it out here to the desktop. I'm going to name it logo. And then I'm going to go into my documents, into my websites, into my examples where I'm building this, into here, into the image folder, and drop it. And it is a JPEG file. Okay, so I want to change it up here. I had PNG. Okay. Now let's take a look. Close up these tabs, and we've got our logo in there. Okay, so now we can start to work on that. So let's look at the markup. We have div class called logo, so I'm going to attack that next. I'm going to type in .logo, and I'm going to display items as flex. Justify my content to the center, and align my items to the center. Okay, and hit Control and save. Let's see if that moves it. Does. Okay, and then we're going to change a few things about the image. Okay, we're going to have a border that is 2 pixels, solid and blue, and we're going to have a border radius, which is going to give me curved corners of 15 pixels. Okay. Okay. So that's something I could do. Perhaps I want some a margin. So let's do 10 pixels on top, 0, 0, and 10 pixels on the bottom. And see that didn't do anything. I might want. Sorry. Control save. There we go. Now we got a little bit more room from the top, so I gave it a little bit of padding. Okay. And all right. Okay, so now that we've got the logo there, one thing I do want the logo to do is I actually want to put A in tab. Nope. Okay, it's not doing it for me right now. Okay, so I'm going to put this image source, Control X. I'm going to put the image source within the link, and the link is going to go to the home page. Now, it doesn't really matter that much on the home page, but I'm going to do this for everyone. Okay. So it goes back to the home page. Okay, and I could make the link smaller. I can make the image smaller. Maybe I'll make it height is going to be 50 pixels with you could say auto or 50 pixels since it's really the same. And that would make it smaller. So I can make a nice little smaller photo of the bear, or maybe I want it a little bit larger than that. Maybe I want it 75 pixels, and then I change it back this way and make it that size. Okay. All right. So now we're done with that. Now we'll move to the nav, and we're going to do a flex display. We're going to justify our content to the center, and we're going to align our items to the center as well. Control save, and see what happens there. And we got our home, context, and about all in the center. All right. Now for the nav links, I don't want any text decoration, so none. And then we'll do some global variables in a moment. Okay, and I'm gonna make the color that color, and maybe the padding pixels. Okay, and then so I'm starting to space them out a little bit. That looks a little bit nicer. And maybe I want to change color when I hover over them. We'll see about that in a moment. But let's see, what else? What else do I want to do? I want to define some global variables. So, sorry, I'm gonna move this down a little bit, and then I'm gonna say I'm gonna comment global here, and then we'll break it apart. So the logo's part of the logo is going to be on the homepage. The nav, they're all going to be on there. But above this, I want to do get my font family in there for all the headers, the paragraphs, and the links. All right, and so to do that, I'm going to go to Google Fonts. Okay, and I'm going to look here, and if you go click About, what is Google Fonts? All the fonts in our catalog are free and open source, making beautiful type accessible to anyone for any project. Sweet. All right, let's go to the directory and look for something cool. And I'm going to go probably pretty basic and just do Open Sans because that is useful everywhere. All right, so I'm going to copy that for the font family, and I'm going to put it in here, here, and here. Hit Control and save, and then we'll go back to our home page, and we've got now that new font shows up, and it looks a little bit nicer. Okay. All right, a couple other things to make it look a little bit nicer. Home page. I want to align all these headers in the center. Okay, and so do that, and I've got them in the center now. But the sidebar is kind of needing some fixing. So now the logo, the nav bar, those are all just globally used. And then on the home page, we're going to have the main part. And this may be a little bit different for the blog part. So this is where I'm going to define the main part. I may be using an article for that. But so the main part, I'm going to have a float left. I'm going to have the width be 70%. And display is going to be a block. And the minimum height we'll have is 300 pixels. And so that's a home page. I like to space this out a little bit. I could minify it and not do that, but now the aside float is going to be right. The width I'm going to put at 28%, just to give a little room. Display is a block, and also the minimum height is going to be 300 pixels. Okay, hit Control Save. Okay, so now you have everything lining up except the footer is dragged to the sidebar. So we have to take care of that. Okay, whoops, not that. So, and the footer, I think we'll define in the global because we're gonna have a footer everywhere. Footer, the display is going to be an inline block, and the width is going to be 100%. And we're going to hit Control Save. Oops, don't want to go there. Want to go here, and that brings the footer down. Okay, so we've now got our sections lined up. Okay, one thing I want to do is space out paragraphs a little bit. And change the size. So I'm going to make the font size going to be 1.1 units, and then the line height I'm going to go with 1.3. Okay, same with this. I can't type this morning. Okay, line height is 1.3. Okay. All right, and let's work it out, and that kind of spaces it out a little bit nicer. Looks a little bit better. Now this is going to be a pure blog, so I don't think I'm going to do images above here, although I could. Another thing I want to do is I want to make the blog seem a little bit interactive. So what I'm going to do is do a few things here. So for my logo, I'm going to type .logo image. When I hover over it, I'm going to create some box shadow. And it's going to be 0, 10 pixels, 10 pixels, 0, and then do that. Okay, and refresh. And look at that. That's kind of cool. I might do it a little bit lighter color. Let me do actually, let me change that. Okay, refresh. That's a little light, but it does give it a bit. Try a little bit darker. It's a little bit darker. There we go. That's a good color. Gives me a little bit of interaction. Okay, and then my links, when I hover over them, I'm going to change the color to a little bit darker gray. Okay. And you can see that, but that's maybe we'll do it we'll just do good old-fashioned blue. Yeah, I mean that works. All right, so our blog is coming together in this is part 1 of developing the CSS. I'm going to continue with this. Maybe we'll add some photos in there. The excerpts might want to be a little bit longer. I might play with the font family a little bit. I'm not sure. This is kind of a basic font that I may use a different font for this, and I may change the color. Actually, I'm thinking right now, as we speak, I want red. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and then maybe even do some other things to segment it a little bit better. Like at the bottom of the header, maybe I want a horizontal line. So I hit HR and tab, Control S, let's see. Okay, maybe I want that. Maybe I kind of like that part of it. And maybe at the top of the footer, I also want one of those. Okay, and I hit tab, and I got that. So it kind of breaks it apart for me. And maybe I want the spacing to be a little bit more. And the sidebar, maybe I don't want the body, the main part, to be just as wide. Bring it down to 67%, hit Control Save. And I get a little bit narrower, a little bit broken apart from each part. So this is something you can play with. Obviously, we're not mobile optimized yet, so when I bring it down, it doesn't look so good just yet. The footer looks fine, that part looks fine, but the main part doesn't look that great. So anyways, I'm going to focus on that in the subsequent video. Thank you for watching this one. I hope it gave you a little bit of idea of how to mess around with the CSS a little bit, add some box shadow, make your links change when you hover over them, that kind of cool stuff. And stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching.